Welcome, everyone, to Ladder Daily Digest. We honor creators, but on Tuesday nights, we sit in the creator Tim Rathbone's living room and we chat. We have a good old time and we see what's going on with things. Tonight's show is going to be movies, and so we're going to look at those things and um, and also we're we're going to talk about what we did recently, but we were hoping for more people to come on right now. One guy is dealing with a family issue. Nate is, and let's see who else went to. And now I got a call. Everything's happening. So we went to what's it called? Thrive in St. George, and we had a fun time. I shared a bunch of pictures. I'm going to share even more, and we're going to see what happens. So, songs. Maybe we'll have you start and tell us about some of the movies that you've seen, and we'll talk about Thrive in a little bit.
Okay. So I kind of started making lists of things. I thought, well, do we want to talk about LDS movies? I haven't watched any of those in a long time, I'll be honest. But I do have some favorites that it's the title you had was movies that moved you. So I have one I can share for a reason that I think it covers so many categories that I think are make it a quality movie. It's an interesting story. It's about a family. It's about death. It's about life. It's about music. It's about history. Um, and there's even a little section about Martin Luther King. So the movie that I'm talking about is a movie called Elizabethtown. Have you either of you guys seen that one?
I love that.
Yeah. So it's a
Orlando
story about a
Bloom.
guy who oh yeah, Orlando Bloom, and he's invented a shoe, and the shoe has just gone viral, but it's a big mistake. So he's got this
Horrible
plan. He's
fail.
gonna yeah, it's an epic fail, but it's about to be discovered over the weekend. But then his dad dies, so then he has to end up going and meeting his dad's family who live in the South. They live in a town called Elizabethtown, Kentucky, near Louisville, and he goes to Louisville and meets all the characters in his dad's family, and each character is so well written and so funny. And he kind of changes his mind about things that happen. So anyway, he meets a girl, and there's the music is amazing. It's a Cameron Crowe soundtrack. Any show, any movie that Cameron Crowe writes, I usually try to watch because the music is always exceptional. It's a wide variety of styles of music. And it helps the movie express more meaning, and it's just a beautiful story. But another thing is I sometimes show a segment of it because one of the segments has the character stopping in Memphis, Tennessee. And so you've got all the blues recording studios in Memphis, but of course in Graceland is in Memphis, and then you've also got the Lorraine Motel. And I stopped there years ago, not knowing where Martin Luther King was shot, but that's actually they show a little scene where they play the U2 song about Martin Luther King, "Pride in the Name of Love," and then they show like the little story of how they made the Lorraine Motel into a civil rights museum, and so you can see that, you can see the wreath where Martin Luther King stood and took his last breath, and how they say in the movie that his death was only the beginning of his victory or something of that nature. And then the story goes on, but for me that one section was really meaningful because I'd been there and I'd seen that, and they hadn't I wasn't able to go into the museum because I didn't know it actually was there, but I could see it across from where I was. And so and I use that sometimes in my classes. I'll show them the little picture of the Lorraine Motel because most of us can't get there very easily from the classroom, but it's like a virtual tour, and it's a short way to teach a quick lesson about that. But it's a great movie because in the end, it's a love story as well, but it's all about life, death, family, love, all the important things in life, and it's extremely well written. So having a well written story that's meaningful and having a great soundtrack to me are kind of some of the qualifiers for making a great movie. So
Yeah, it's
Timeless rock and roll music.
definitely a little quirky. It takes a little while to get to it, but I think to me, like when you put yourself in the place of the different characters and try to
Mm-hmm.
think from their eyes about what just happened to them or what is happening to them, and it allows you to think about things differently, to see the world from somebody else's eyes and how different people react differently to death. And Orlando Bloom is here. He is. He wants to kill himself. Oops, spoiler. But anyway, that's right. Disclaimer: there's going to be spoilers, but most of the movies we'll probably talk about will be 5, 10, 15, 20, 35, 50, 100 years old if Tim brings up his movies. But anyhow, Charlie Chaplin. But yeah, so it allows you to just live, experience life through other people's eyes, and so that's kind of cool. Tim, are you ready to do your story? Or no, we could talk some more about your movie song. Sorry.
Oh, well, that was one that I thought of. Another one, I kind of started trying to make a little list of movies and why. And I watch movies quite a bit. It's one of my I think one of the great pleasures in my life. And at one point I used it when I was a member of the church. I thought that God communicated with me through movies, and I'd watch a movie and like, oh, that was the line I needed to hear. Oh, and now I don't think so much that way, but I do still really love a great movie. Another one that's one of my favorites is The Secret Life of Bees. It's about a bunch of women and just the impact they have on life and how they kind of live in this secret world that only they exist in at that time. And it's just kind of the life, the death, the stories they tell. Just kind of a really powerful, fun movie to watch. And it's also a really good book. So that's another one too. I thought, well, what about the ones that were books first or whatever? Because some of those are really well made. Some maybe not so much, but. And I don't really have much more than that, but I wanted to mention those two.
Okay, and you can comment as we go along other things. Welcome, Randy Watts, to the show. Oh, your volume is not on for some reason. There you go. Press the mic button. Okay.
Yeah, it might help if I turned it on. Yeah.
That's right. So, Randy, do you have movies, either Mormon or non-Mormon, that impacted you in a certain way? And let us know what's going on there.
I sure do. Are we rolling now?
We are live.
Well, yeah, there's a certain movie that really impacted me. It came out in 1996. It was called The People versus Larry Flynt. It was about the publisher and developer of Hustler magazine. And it was filmed in Memphis, Tennessee at the Peabody Hotel, which is a hotel that I ran. That's what made me leave Disney, was an offer that doubled my salary to go run the Peabody Hotel and get it into working order and get a AAA rating on it. So we would host, anytime a celebrity would come to town, the Peabody is where they would stay. And that way they could visit Rendezvous Barbecue and Beale Street, and right there, the riverbank along there. And there were a lot of movies filmed at the Peabody as well. The People versus Larry Flynt being one of them. And they were doing some filming in one of our ballrooms, and a lady came running up to me a little bit desperate, and she says, "Hey, we're trying to find a trash can. Do you think you could provide us with one?" I said, yeah, let me grab one for you. So I got a trash can. That was a pretty easy assignment. And we started chatting, and she was really kind, and she says, "Would you like to be in our movie?" And I said, "Yes, please." So she sent me the makeup and had him put the 60s style sideburns on and a mustache, and placed me. Oh, they assigned me a wife, and we were in a town hall meeting, and I'll be danged if I didn't get a full face close up shot of me in this meeting. And, because I was thinking I was going to have to try to search to find myself. And bam, there I was, full screen. Now, at the time, I was a TBM. And I didn't even know what this movie was all about. But finding out that it was about Hustler magazine, I was a little bit demure, a little bit shy, but I figured, what the hell? How often do you get a chance to be in a major film? And I was taking care of Larry Flint himself, making sure he had all the accommodations he needed. And Woody Harrelson, him and I played racquetball earlier that morning because he just happened to show up at my gym where I would play racquetball. And I'm like, hey, yeah, come on over. So it was almost like I kind of already knew them. And I got to sit in this town hall meeting and participate while they filmed the movie. So I guess that's maybe my 5 minutes of fame, was to be in The People versus Larry Flint and get my big face shot right there. So yeah, that kind of impacted my life because I was in it.
Very cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And the people that worked for me were naked girls in a jacuzzi. I didn't get to watch that part be filmed, but it was kind of interesting seeing that once the movie came out. It's like, hey, those are my employees. But they were off, so it was okay. They could get naked in the jacuzzi, I guess. So yeah,
Well,
that's claim to fame.
I was gonna say, at least you got to go to the town hall. You didn't have to get naked in a jacuzzi.
Yeah, that would have made the movie an instant loser. I can assure you of that. They wouldn't have even let the movie out if I'd gotten naked in it.
Don't do it. You'll get arrested. Trust.
Right? Yeah. So that was a fun experience. I was also in another movie called The King's Ransom with Miles O'Keefe, I think was his name. And that was just an extra part that was fun. And that was just a freak way that I ended up in that one too. And here's the experience I had on that set. It was filmed at Universal Studios, not Disney Studios. So I wasn't very familiar. And we would sit for hours while we were filming a particular scene. And when we had a little break, I ran into just the next room. It was just divided by a curtain, and undid my pants and pulled them down and straightened my shirt out, tucked it in, pulled them back up. And I'm looking at this big, huge black plexiglass thing. I'm like, I wonder what that's all about. Come to find out, it was where the tours would go, and they were all up there watching this movie be filmed, and yours truly tucked his shirt in for the entire world. So yeah, those are my two movie experiences.
There you go. I think we should just do a reel of Tim laughing for 15 minutes.
I was wearing garments at the time too, so yeah, they.
Oh wow!
Like, what's that strange movie long underwear he's wearing?
So I'm going to go back and watch both of those again.
Okay, good. The People versus Larry Flint. I'm in the town hall.
I watched it when it came out, when I was a Mormon too. I watched all kinds of movies. I wasn't,
Well,
I watched it too.
We're all
but I'm going back and watching it again.
good. You'll see.
Yeah.
Well, let's let Debbie go because she might have to get back to some important business.
So you want to know my Mormon movie and like a mainstream movie?
Yeah, so it could be that's like a starting place,
Well, I think the one that I grew up with, the two that stand out that we watched all the time in church, was Mohana Ya Ugly. And I remember thinking like how degrading that when the father calls the daughter and he's like,
Johnny Lingo.
"You're ugly, like get out here," or like how horrible. Like I remember that just being so jarring for me because my father, even if I was ugly, would never call me ugly. And then the fact that she became more beautiful, I never kind of grasped that concept. And I feel like it's kind of like the same whitesome, delightsome. Like if you conform or you need this to be pretty or beautiful in the eyes of whatever this is, was always kind of like, I felt really derogatory. So that may not be a great one. But I feel like all the movies we were raised on kind of had that derogatory message, like the river rafting one where the person doesn't put on their life jacket and then dies. I don't remember
Yeah, the life after death.
Yeah, but those were kind of like almost like to show that kind of movie to your kids now would be completely unacceptable, I think, without a PG-13 rating on look at what will happen or you'll die, or look at you're so ugly and you can't be beautiful unless you do this. I mean, I just think like if I had a daughter now, I would just be like, you're teaching my kid what? Or even my sons, like, So I find the media that we grew up with, especially during the 80s in the church and the 90s, to be really kind of like off-putting. And I do love when they do the Mormon old movie reviews, because there's some that I missed. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they actually produced that, So I guess Mormons weren't always great at putting together a good script and, putting out good content. And I feel like that's still their MO. But I do love movies, like songs that I've seen. I watched all the movies. It didn't matter if it had a rating system. I wasn't raised so conservatively that wasn't allowed. And I think the one movie I first, and I'll still watch it over and over again to this day because I absolutely love everything about it, is Shawshank Redemption. Because I think that's a true story of how you can prevail and have redemption. And it takes time and it takes smarts and the surprise at the end. And then his, how he gets to save his friend and he gets redemption. And I feel like that movie has so many beautiful lessons. And the interesting thing is it's a Stephen King book that was adapted to a movie. And typically I don't like to read Stephen King books because I'm very visual when I read. So they scare the piss out of me, kind of feeling. I don't like scary stuff. So that to this day, if anyone were to say, what's your favorite movie? I would say Shawshank Redemption, because I think at times we all feel like we've been wronged and we want redemption and we want truth to prevail and we want some kind of, I wouldn't say justice, but you want to be redeemed. And I feel like that's a great Redeemer movie in a way that I haven't seen a religion be able to pull off, as far as persevering to the end, doing hard things, learning to be quiet and put up with things that you don't like, and also having good friends, because that is also a great movie about friendship and connections, and you can find friends and connections in the strangest places. So there you are.
That's right. I think for Johnny Lingo, I was trying to think of the word. It's the women become objects, right? It's objectification. So it's her beauty that makes her valuable instead of just as a person, just as a contributor to the clan or the tribe or whatever. And so that's kind of a bad message to young women. It's like, saying, hey, you women, stop looking like men, put on a little lipstick.
Right.
Some apostle said 10 years ago. And so
what kind of message does that send to men? Like, oh, she'll become beautiful. Like you might have to marry kind of the ugly one, guys. Like, take one for the team here. And I promise you, she's going to become a 10-cal wife if you just, I don't know.
Stick it out.
I feel like the messaging on that was bad all around for everyone involved.
Tim was told the better he was as a missionary, the better wife he would get when he returned home, I bet.
Yeah, right.
Told that, yeah. And
No,
then
it was, how you cut, it was how you cut the bread. If you could cut a thin slice of bread or wavy slice of bread, if I remember right.
how many chairs you could carry when
That's
breaking down
right.
the culture.
Yeah. 6. Okay, 6.
That's right.
Tim, you're so strong.
Women love long arms.
Oh man. But you know what? I find that's interesting too, because in that dynamic, like the things that I was taught to find attractive or to value in a future spouse or mate, were not things that I now look for, like some of that stuff was really hokey. Like I definitely married a few resumes because we connected a little bit, but they looked really good on paper. So in my mind, I was going to be happy because that's all I wanted to be, like anyone else, is I just wanted to be happy and have, all those things that you're promised, like a chill, this loving world. It's like a Disney movie. Like if you find the prince, he's going to be the thing that comes in and makes everything great and look at
Happily
the life.
ever after.
Yeah, you will live happily ever after. And
No such thing as that. Has anybody had a happy ever after moment?
what?
Or do they get a flat tire the next day after their best day? That's what happens in real life.
Buy the new car, you pull into the parking lot, and someone, dings your door. I guess it's kind of that way too. So,
What was
So drives
those
a bus
movies?
into your house.
That's right.
yeah.
What were those movies they would play in the middle of baptism all the time?
Oh my God, they're
Like Joseph
terrible. Do
Smith.
you remember the one? Yeah, I was gonna say when I
Getting the
thought
vision.
of the LDS movie. Do you remember
Yeah.
the one where he had the big thing of beans and he had the Book of Mormon down in the beans, and he would take
Oh.
each bean out one by one, and so he wouldn't have to show people the Book of Mormon. Do you guys remember that movie? That was my
Mhm.
favorite as a kid.
Oh,
I can
really?
barely
I saw that
remember
on Mormon movie reviews. Well, he was trying to hide the Book of Mormon that he was still translating. So he put it down in this gigantic barrel of beans. And so the people who wanted to steal it from him said, "You better show us that book, Joe Smith." And so he said, "Okay, it's down in the bottom of this barrel of beans." And so he takes one bean out at a time. So then finally they get tired of waiting on him to take each bean out at a time. So then they just go away.
Anti-Mormons are so impatient. That's all I have
Yeah,
to say.
they can't wait for you to unbarrel all the beans. But it was like that. I loved that as a kid. I thought, wow, that's so cool that he was so clever to put that book down in the beans.
That's right.
And now I look at
There's
him like, that's so dumb.
there's that movie, and then there's the one where the boy, this Joseph, is getting the vision of the golden ray of sunshine in the woods, and after praying, and as a kid, you think, maybe that could happen to me if I could go out and pray. I'll get a vision someday or something. And never happened. All I got was pine needles in my knees. But anyway.
Wow.
Gene, did you go to the Sacred Grove at the Hill Cumorah?
So I actually was there when I was 13, and our family went on a long trip. And I remember thinking that somewhere in the Hill Cumorah is a big wooden box that was covered by a rock, and all we have to do is find it, and then we can see if there were other things in that box, or at least prove that there was some plates there. And nobody's ever said that they've ever found anything. And like some people say, all you need to do is get LiDAR now, and you can just scan the whole mountain. It's just a small hill. It's about as big as a school property, maybe in any neighborhood. And that wouldn't take very much to do. And, of course, nobody in the church wants to pay for it because they know what will happen. But for non-Mormon movies, one thing that was really impactful to me as a kid, we would always, I don't know if Tim remembers this, if you couldn't go to a movie when it opened because we were poor or whatever, didn't work out, that ABC would have the world premiere a year after a movie opened.
Yeah.
And we would be able to see that movie. And so we waited, and we can watch it for just for watching the commercials. That was our pay, how much we paid. And we didn't go to the theater that often, and if we did go to the theater, we would go the once and then wait for the year. If we wanted to see it again, we just wait a year, and it would be on ABC Saturday Night the Movies or whatever they call it. And but Star Wars was the first movie where we said, "Wow, we have to see that again." And so I think I saw it 3 times in the first week, and it was just so impactful. And seeing the laser guns and a Wookiee
blasters,
a Wookiee helping drive, so Bigfoot, Kane could have helped drive a rocket ship back in the day. And then the weird shapes of some of the things. Some of them look like 4-kilometer long irons. And Luke Skywalker's Millennium Falcon just looked kind of weird, but it was still cool. And then, saving the day at the end of the movie. But it was just...
That movie was so unique in its storytelling and so sci-fi, like really outside the box from, I think, anything that anyone was exposed to, like this war in space. And then there's this really bad guy and he's just you're right. Even as a girl, because people typically think it's a boy movie, it's great. It's still one you can watch for sure.
And even the very beginning when it says a long time ago, like all the futuristic movies were in the future, right? And here's a futuristic movie that was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. And in a way, that was right up Mormonism's sort of idea that there's gods in other parts of the galaxy or in other galaxies or whatever. And those were, God's creations as well, just they look different. And so it was just kind of funny. That reminds me, I've been thinking like a few years ago is like, what the heck were our spirits doing for 13 billion years, waiting to come down to Earth? Did we have celestial solitaire? Did we play chess? What have we been doing for 13 billion years, waiting to come to Earth since we were created, at the beginning, right? So those are just.
You think we'd be so enlightened waiting 13 billion years? Like we didn't have to live through the dark ages or cavemen. Like we should be the most wow. But I feel stupider every day. I wake up like, wow, this is stupid. I was kidding.
That's right. Okay, Tim. When what was that first talkie movie that came out when you were a kid? What's the name of that famous movie?
The Jazz Singer.
The Jazz Singer.
That one.
Were you like 12 when that came out?
Yeah, about
1936.
Oh
no, it would have been earlier than that. Been like 1920 or something.
26, I think, or 27. I would have been minus 20 something when it came out. No, the one Mormon movie I remember is Cypher in the
1927.
Snow. Okay. Cypher in the Snow, about the kid that dies waiting for the bus in the snow, and his teacher writes a letter, his obituary, because nobody knew who he was or something like that. Can't remember. It's been years since I've seen it.
That's horrible.
Way to bum us all out, Tim.
Well, Gene said a Mormon movie, and that's the only one I can really think of that I remember. And I remember called this one other one that had Mike Farrell in it from MASH.
Oh yeah, the one with Mike Farrell.
Yeah, called The Serve, I think, or something like that.
That's like an Elders Quorum movie.
Yeah, or Man's Search for Happiness.
Man's Search for Happiness. When did that come out?
Oh, in the 50s. They made that for the World's Fair in '64. Oh, gee, come on, guys. My cat.
This was made for the World's Fair as well.
Yep.
Meet
Yeah.
the
What is that one?
Meet the Mormons.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Meet the Mormons. Meet the Mormons. Yeah.
Mhm.
Janelle. Songs.
Yeah, what
Do you
year
see
was that
yourself-
from?
You see yourself
1964.
No,
there
I
anywhere?
don't. No,
You don't?
it's like Waldo. I'm not there. What year was that one from, Gene?
The first edition was 64, and this is a 65. We'll call it a postum table edition.
Well, I wasn't born then. That's why I'm not there.
That's right. Picture book.
Postum table. I love that.
Postum table.
Yep.
Oh, brother.
I love Postum. That's what we were raised on.
That's hard to find now, too.
It's expensive as
Kind
well.
of like cream of wheat.
Is it?
It's like a coffee alternative.
Oh,
So-
postum. Okay.
It's a
see, I don't
it's
know.
a barley. It's a barley drink.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Well,
Never had it.
I like Star Wars. I saw it once, okay, living in Colorado Springs. And I told my friends I saw this really neat movie. And if you take me to see it and pay my way, and at the end, if you don't like it, I'll pay all your way. I didn't have to pay for that movie for like 25 times. That's how many times I saw it in the theater.
I love it.
Where there was a singles ward, and everybody in the singles ward says, Steve Beheiter was a friend of mine. I said, Steve, tell you what, you pay my way. And we would go in groups of 3 and 4 at a time, maybe 6 or 8, to the theater and watch it. Oh man! But Empire is the best. I mean, Empire is the redemption story. That's where Luke redeems himself and becomes a Jedi, so he can go and do Revenge, which was originally called Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Jedi.
Nice.
And, yeah, I mean, yeah. But one movie I think, and everybody should see, is Derek Delgado's In and of Itself. It's on Hulu, and it's a movie about us, people, and who we are, and what we're about. I really recommend everybody, if you can, watch that movie.
Cool.
Yeah,
I haven't seen it. I'll watch it.
yeah.
Tim
Well,
is
I
like
put
the
a-
movie buff. You always got to ask Tim about movies because he's got.
Well, I put a
Irrelevant.
bunch in our chat of my favorites. See, like I know Gene went to talk about inspirational films. Well, there's different ways to be inspired.
Mhm.
I mean, like I've talked about The Searchers. I really love that film. It's just a great movie. My most favorite film, though, is Jean Cocteau's 1946 Beauty and the Beast. It's in French, and it's a feminist film, I got to tell you, for its time. And it's a beautiful film. Yeah.
I was just thinking. I still think the worst temple movie, the worst church movie, is the Temple Video.
But of course it is. And it's probably the
they're
most
all-
watched.
Did you know that it has
Well,
Mike Farrell in it from MASH? We were just talking about Mike, MASH.
Is he in the old one with Gordon Jump?
Yeah, he's in the old one. He's one of the apostles. One of the
No way.
Mike Farrell. Check
So a
that out.
non-Mormon was in the Temple movie.
No, Mike Farrell was LDS.
He was?
I
You're not
didn't
talking
know
about the Maytag man, are you?
No, Jesse White.
Yeah, yes, the Maytag man, the new Maytag man. Gordon Jump. After Jesse White died, Gordon Jump took that over. Yeah. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know Mike Farrell was. I knew some of the other Mormon actors, like what's the guy from Father Murphy and Little House on the Prairie?
Oh,
His name is not coming to me, but I
Yeah.
talk about him. Fearless 4.
he passed
Mhm.
away, right?
The
Yeah,
football player, Merlin Olsen.
cancer. Yeah,
Mike
Merlin
Merlin
Olsen.
Olsen.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love him as a kid, and like finding out he was LDS, that was so cool. And like
He was like a gentle
Gordon Jump, I
giant.
used to watch- I used to
And
watch
then-
everything they did. And what's the guy from Bonanza? Who was also
Dan Blocker.
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah.
Dan Blocker was, but I wasn't the guy that played his dad in Bonanza 2.
Lauren Green?
Lauren Green.
Yeah, wasn't Lauren Green a Mormon?
Oh,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had always heard that, so I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I had always heard.
Dan Blocker was a bishop of one of the Van Nuys wards. I knew that.
Oh, okay.
And then
Wow.
Debbie talked about Shawshank, and I agree with her. That's probably one of the best movies ever made. That's like
So
in
I
my
just
top-
looked up,
Yeah, that's a good one too.
is Mike
Yeah.
Farrell a Mormon? It says no, but it's a pretty common rumor.
how's
Well,
he
you
in
know,
the temple
to
movie?
be a good Mormon, you have to be a actor. You have to play the role. You
It's
know,
possible
like that's
Randy,
what
you're
we all,
having a memory.
we all actors in
It's
training
the best
going to church.
training. It
Yeah.
literally
He-
is. I mean, like,
He's in a couple of Mormon movies. He's in Called the
Yeah, so you
Servant
might have
is in
seen
another
Randy in
one.
other Mormon movies, but not in the temple. But then you thought in your recreating our memories, we do it all the time.
Well, dang, Gene, I didn't know you were going to fact check.
That's right. Only you.
Now I have
Everybody
to.
else can say whatever the hell they want.
Well, there's that Nickelodeon star who just wrote a book, and she's like, "I'm glad my mother's dead." She was raised
Yeah.
Mormon.
McCurdy.
Like-
Yeah.
Yeah, her story is like bombastic. But I'm like, I think that's why you do have so many predominant like secret LDS actors who were or once were, is because
Yeah,
you are
yeah.
literally trained from birth to shut up and do the part. Like you might be crying in the parking lot, but you better put on your happy face when you get in there, or
Yeah.
cry appropriately when it's like, oh, the prophet. Oh my gosh.
Well,
You know.
Or I mean, yeah, just a fast and testimony meeting. I mean, or getting up and giving talks, the whole thing, or like the whole, I don't know, it's a whole acting training. It really is. And like, you look at like, what is it, Will Swenson from The Single Ward, like he's still a Broadway actor. He's just not a member of the church anymore. But it is interesting that his wife has sung with the Tabernacle Choir a few times,
Huh.
even since he left the church. Audra McDonald.
oh,
I don't know if you all know who
Okay.
she is, but she's a Broadway act. She's like won more
Yeah.
Tony Awards than any other actor.
Yeah, I've heard about her. One of the most interesting films about faith is the Russian film. It's called Stalker by Andrei Tarkovsky. He made also Solaris and a couple other films. And it's about faith and belief. And it's a really interesting film to watch. It's like 3 hours long. And not a lot happens,
Stalker?
but yeah, it's called Stalker. It was made in 1979.
Okay.
And it played for years in Poland somewhere. They had it in a theater, and they played it like nonstop for a long time. It's really interesting. You just have to watch it, and it's about faith because they have this belief. You get to the spot, and if you believe something's going to happen, if you don't, if you believe you see something, and if you don't see or experience something. I'm not going to I don't want to spoil it, but it's just a really interesting study. I really like foreign films because they give us a different perspective than the slick, clean Hollywood stuff, That's really like Beauty and the Beast. That's a story of redemption too, because she redeems the beast. Gosh, man, I never thought about that just now.
Tim, did you ever see that movie Brotherhood of the Bell?
Oh yeah, that's the one about the conspiracy. Is Michael Douglas in that? No.
No, but another big name.
Wait.
1967, 73 when that came out, between that period. It's mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because before then, we didn't have that word in our vocabulary, like conspiracy theory. Oh, so good. So good.
Y'all are being mighty calm and relaxed while my Mike Farrell shelf is just breaking all over my living room.
Sorry.
What about the boss in WKRP in Cincinnati? Was he
Glenn
LDS?
Ford.
Was he in the
Yeah,
temple?
that's Gordon Jump. Yes, he was LDS.
Yeah.
Yes.
And was
Yeah.
he in the temple film?
He was
Yes,
Peter.
he's
of
Peter.
James, and John
Okay,
band.
that's what I was thinking. I don't
That's
know how
what
I
I
got
think.
Mike Farrell in there. I think my dad
That's right.
told me that.
But
I
Mike
like-
Carroll was a
so-
cool person.
He was,
He was a great guy. Well, he lives next door to a friend of mine. He and Shelley Fabre live next door to a friend of mine
oh
down
wow.
in LA.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's an actress and lives right next door to
Bobicus
him.
Rex mentions Shawshank Redemption, and that's a good one.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
an excellent film. Excellent.
And the
I
book is
remember it
called
being-
Rita Hayworth from the Shawshank Redemption, right?
Yes, Rita Hay, and it's a short
Rita
story.
Hayworth
It's a
is
not.
awesome.
It's a not. It's a.
Yeah, I
it's
read
a,
it.
It's a good story. It's in one of his anthologies.
Yeah.
But The Green Mile is a 4-volume. Well, it's a 1 volume, but originally he printed it as 4 different books. You bought one, then to buy this like a cereal. You had to buy one, and then the second, the third,
So
and the
part
fourth.
1, the first quarter mile of green. Part 2,
Yeah.
the second quarter mile.
Basically, yes. Good. That's a good one, Gene. Because when I saw the movie, right after I saw the movie, I went to the library and I checked it out and I read it. And the movie and the book are so close. I mean, it's incredible. Anyway, that's another good movie. Green Mile.
Another movie that I went to go see multiple times was Indiana Jones,
And The Temple of Doom.
the first one,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
See,
Crusades, the
I grew up.
Lost
Well,
Crusades.
I grew up in LA around movie people, and
hmm.
I used to go to the movie every weekend. We go to the double feature, the Pickwood Theater up on Pico and Westwood, or we go to the Palms down on Motor Avenue, and the Culver and Culver City. My friends and I, we'd walk up, or Mom would take us there and drop us off, and we'd be there all afternoon. So
yeah,
I grew up in movies, and then we had Saturday night at the movies on NBC, and I look at the schedule of it on Wikipedia, and I can trace my growing up by every single movie I watched. Almost every single one of those movies when I was like 4, 5, 6, growing up. I mean, in May, Day Deer still premiered on Saturday Night Movies, and I was so scared I couldn't go to sleep, and my parents had a day bed in their bedroom, and I was just clothes on it. Mom had to put the laundry away, and so I kind of laid in the bed, and she threw the laundry on top of me, and then my cat got in and had kittens in bed with me that night. So that's one of my first memories about movies. I think the first movie I ever saw was Babes in Toyland, or Sleeping Beauty, one of those two.
Babes in Toyland, when they're
It's a dark movie, like when they're kidnapping the kids. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I remember being scared, and like the guy comes around with a cage, and like all the children are gone in the village, and the parents are all traumatized. Like, Disney, what were you trying to tell us?
Well, look at Sleeping Beauty, when the Treasure of the Dragon at Radio City Music Hall, they put seat covers on all the seats because the kids pissed their pants. So it's like,
Oh, wow.
Pinocchio, the little city of lost boys, where they're like,
Yeah.
and they just come back like boys. Like, what did they come back as? They all
Hey,
turn into
that became Utah Valley, right? The Lost Boys.
pretty much.
Utah Valley.
It was
Yeah.
a precursor. Mhm.
Did you ever see Wait Until Dark?
Yes, Audrey
That-
Hepburn.
Was a
Yeah.
scary movie right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has Richard Crenna in it, and
Columbo,
oh,
was he the bad guy?
no, it's the Russians are coming. The Russians are coming.
Alan Arkin.
Alan Arkin's the bad guy.
Yeah, it was. I wish I would have had plastic seat covers on my chair with that one. I was just
Yeah.
my sister and I watched it, and I just keep remembering this bloody hand reaching out and grabbing this poor blind girl. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll dream-
When I was a kid, I knew that movies were made with cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody was being attacked, I would say, "Why doesn't the cameraman do something?" Because
Oh wow.
Line upon line, precept upon precept, right?
That's why I grew up on, my genre was musicals. Like literally, I think we watched Grease 1 every day during summer break. And, like I wanted to be Sandy for sure. And I'd roller skate around the neighborhood, just being like, oh, loving it. Seven Brides for Seven Brothers.
That's right.
All the,
They show
my
that
mom
every
into that genre. So that's what we got exposed to.
Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. They show it. They used to show that at the end of the year every year at BYU.
Mm.
Which is an interesting story because you have to kidnap the woman to get her. Okay, and I'm just kidding.
Right.
Oh,
and
yeah,
there's
then-
Little Abner is a movie.
Little Abner.
Little Abner. I watched that not very long ago.
Wizard of Oz
Again.
would come on every year. We'd wait.
Oh,
on.
I was scared of
Yeah.
the witch. I was scared of the witch, man, a couple of times for a couple of years.
It's a truly an Oz year this year. That was one of our themes this year that we're studying, because like The Wiz is back on Broadway, Wicked came out in the movie theater, and The Wizard of Oz is playing everywhere in every movie theater now. It's like it's such a year for those Frank Baum shows. I mean, it's just like this is the year of The Wizard of Oz for sure.
I just
What a
loved
classic.
Wicked.
I
I
don't
just
know.
loved Wicked, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites too. Like, yeah, one of my friends from college was in it on Broadway, and we got to take the kids up to go see it, and I just love that one. I mean, just the music is amazing. The cinematography, wasn't that just incredible?
Yes,
Oh.
the whole film's incredible. I saw it in IMAX, and the whole film's incredible.
Oh,
It's
wow.
I was just blown away. With the first showing, I went, I gotta go tonight. Gotta go tonight. Gotta go see it. And hardly anybody was in the theater. It's like, man, where is everybody?
I wish I had seen that one in IMAX. I saw it a couple times, but I don't know why I didn't go see it in IMAX. Just the scenes with the monkeys and all the sounds. I mean, woof, that's a really
Yeah.
good one to see in IMAX. Maybe the next
Yeah.
one, the part 2, I'll see in that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it was something else.
The
I saw
opening,
two.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
if anyone happened to watch them, was Ariana Grande and Cynthia. What's her last name that plays?
Erivo,
Oh yeah,
Cynthia Erivo. Yeah, she's like,
That-
superb.
gorgeous. That number they did.
Yeah.
At the end with the brooms.
Well, it was.
Well, at the Oscars, they sang at the
Yeah.
Oscars.
I didn't watch the Oscars. We were talking Megan was staying with his friend Michael, and it was Gene and his wife, me and Michael and Nathan and
Oh.
Megan and Maven. And we were talking. So I don't know. Okay, I
Well,
gotta
I
watch
missed
it now.
I missed it airing because I thought, usually it comes on Eastern time from 8 to 11. Well, this year it was 7 to 10, and I had missed the first song, so I went back and watched it. But they did a
Okay.
whole medley of Oz songs. Like Cynthia sang "Home" from The Wiz, and then before that, Ariana sang "Somewhere Over the Rainbow," and then they together did "Defying Gravity."
Yes.
And if you haven't seen the film, Cynthia does "Defying Gravity" like while flying through the air. Like she literally recorded
Yes.
it like
Flying
in a
through the
harness
air.
flying. Yeah, I was just
Yeah,
amazed. I mean, like,
I know. The whole film is amazing. It's just like,
Yeah.
wow. Blew me away.
Yeah.
Just blew me away.
I'll tell you what'll freak you out. I did watch the Oscars, and there was my son front and center.
Oh, I
Really?
saw that post. Yeah. How did
Did you-
that
I
happen?
love that.
I had no idea. He never
So,
or boasts about any
does
of
he
that.
make films?
Pardon?
Does he make films?
No, he did open the premiere of the last Matrix movie in San Francisco, and he was on the red carpet and did that. But he was invited by the Academy as a social media influencer. He's really big on Facebook, but that just blew me away. I'm like,
Cool.
how can
Wow,
you
that's so
at
cool.
the Oscars and not even boast about that?
Randy's
That's
going to try
really
to play
cool.
the dad card and have him come on our show soon. So we
All
can-
right.
Mhm.
All right.
I think we can get him to do that.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey.
Show.
So we're just talking about movies we liked, or
Yeah.
specifically the nominated movies.
No, just
Movies we
they're
like.
just
Just movies in general. We've run the gamut.
stuff that impacted your life, stuff like that. And,
Oh
and
yeah,
I might
you
have
guys
to go
heard of
visit.
Letterboxd?
The what?
Letterboxd, it's a website that lets you like catalog movies.
Yes.
No,
So
but
I
that sounds
actually have
awesome.
a list on Letterboxd of life-changing movies. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I know my top 5, but after that I forget what I put on Letterboxd.
So it lets
But-
you just categorize movies.
Yeah, you can make custom lists. Like I have, I mean, you know, I'm only distance from the church 2 years ago, so I have the first list I made was like Sunday approved movies because I was a good Mormon, of course, you know. But yeah, they let you do all sorts of lists, watch lists, favorite lists, give reviews, read your friends' reviews. So it's a great website if you like movies.
I love film.
So yeah, let's look at my
Same.
list.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have Sunday movies. I have Christmas music or Christmas movies. I have movies that have an amazing twist. Like, have you guys heard of the movie The Game with Michael Douglas?
Yes.
Oh my
We-
gosh, did you love
I-
that?
Oh yeah, where he falls at the end of that big pillow.
Yeah.
Air pillow. Yeah.
There are so many things in that where, like, I mean, you know, like it's kind of hard for a movie to really surprise you, and that movie really surprised me several times. Had to catalog it. Another movie in that list is Witness for the Prosecution. Anyone heard of
Oh yes.
that?
Yes.
Absolute gold. Absolute gold.
Who's in that one?
Marlene Dietrich.
Charles Lance, Tyrone Power, Eliza Lanchester.
Tyrone Power.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Elsa Lancaster and her husband Charles Lawton.
Okay.
But yeah, the
Epic.
second list I made after Sunday movies is what I call the best of the best, and you can force rank them so they each have a number. Like, this is my favorite movie, this is my second favorite movie. So yeah, I could talk for a while, but do you just want to know the top 5?
Whatever you want to share.
Okay, well, number 5 is 12 Angry Men. Most people know that movie.
Yeah.
Which one though?
The
Just what?
first one.
Which version? The first
Oh
one.
yeah,
Okay.
I don't know
That
the new
one-
one. The Henry Fonda one. Is that even possible to redo after Henry Fonda's amazing
Wait,
performance?
I think the second one is I mean, for its
The
time
second-
frame, I think it's a good comparison. You
Yeah,
know?
the second one
Like,
has
because
got
Lucky Actress and the first one are dead.
the second one has got Jack Lemmon and Jersey Scott. It's just as good, I think.
I didn't even know there was
I
another
like
one.
that
I will definitely watch it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And there's
Yeah,
12 Angry Women also.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's that one
great.
too. Yeah.
Ah,
And then the play is called 12 Angry Jurors. So,
Yes.
or at least the
more
most
on
modern
those.
version of the system.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
But sidebar, sorry.
Yeah. Number 4 is oh my gosh, don't tell me the actor. I'm gonna have to click on it to remember. Oh, James. I had to tell you his last name. McAvoy. McAvoy.
James
McAvoy.
McAvoy. Oh, what a fabulous actor. Sorry.
Oh, his range is amazing. Have you heard of the movie The Conspirator? Civil War era. The mother of one of the shooters of Lincoln is accused, but they can't find him. They can only find his mom. So the mom stands trial for the killing of Lincoln, well, being one of the conspirators. So it's about justice in a time of war, and James McAvoy is her lawyer, and just, you know, he tries to do what all lawyers vow to do, which is, you know, execute the law, have a fair
I
trial.
think I've
for their
seen
client.
that. I think I've seen that film.
And
I'm
I
gonna
love
look at it.
movies that have like a character that is idealistic, that has a high sense of what's fair and what's just, and it just, I love this movie so much. Fourth favorite movie, James McAvoy.
Love him.
Number 3, I don't know, would be so high on my list. It's another, like, it's also on my Sunday approved list. It's totally within, religious values type movie. It's the movie that what's the director's name? Frank Capra made. He made this movie right after It's a Wonderful Life. Just as good, amazing quality, but not as famous for some reason, lesser known. But it's still with Jimmy Stewart, and it's just kind of a quirky family, and they kind of discover together.
No.
You Can't Take It With You.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
You
yeah.
Can't Take It With You,
Which is a play. Yeah.
So very, very quirky movie, but very, very good. Number 2 is also very good, but like probably what put it in the top 5 was there's a speech at the end that is overtly religious, but even with that, it's still top 5. It's The Scarlet and the Black. So Christopher Plummer is the antagonist, and he plays a Nazi. So he's like hero in Sound of Music against the Nazis, and in this movie he plays a Nazi.
Right.
Okay.
But the standout performer is actually Gregory Peck. He's the main character. He's a cardinal that, even though the Vatican is supposed to be neutral, his conscience is like, no, I can't remain neutral. I have to save people. I have to do my part to end the war.
Yeah,
really,
that's a
really
good
great
movie.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Great movie. But that's still one of my second favorite movie. We're to number 1. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
We're ready.
My number 1 favorite movie of all time, and it's probably not close, is called Gentleman's Agreement.
Oh yeah, with Gregory Peck and Celeste Holm.
Dorothy
McGuire.
Celeste Holm, yeah. Not many people know this movie, but I just think it shows the human condition and how, like, we can have good intentions but still be so destructive. I think it is a must watch. It is so good. That shows like unconscious bias and treating people in the name of like, oh, go along to get along. Oh, I'm not racist. I'm a good person. But oh gosh.
Mhm.
He should have married Celeste Holm's character.
Yep.
He let her go. Yeah.
He did. So sad.
Yeah.
So sad. So yeah, I'll put I don't have the link to the stream, but here's the link to my list. I'll put it in the chat here.
Cool.
Okay, we can put it in the show notes.
Oh wait, no, that's the link to just that one movie. Here's the link to the best of the best movies. I only have 40 in it because I want to force rank them. So it's my top 40. I'm probably going to extend it to top 50 soon. But I tried to keep it to 30 for about 7 years. Then I extended it to 40. And I was like, no, I'm not going to extend it past 40. I got to make it bigger. But those are my 40 top movies of all time.
That's awesome.
I like so many, I have to do it by category.
Very nice.
So nobody's brought up well, we brought up one horror movie, but I was thinking about this when we were talking about one of the movies earlier. Like, I love old Betty Davis movies, like Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, or
And Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yes. And what's the other one? So just when I just started watching, like when I was younger, some of the Turner Classic ones that would come on, but whenever Whatever Happened to Baby Jane was on, I dropped everything. I'm like, oh, my sister and I used to watch repeat the lines, and what's the other one about wire hangers? I can't think of the name.
Oh.
And no wire hangers.
Mama Dearest.
Mommy Dearest.
Dearest.
I love that one too. Like, we would both like just drop everything and watch those every time they were on. Just classic movies. And Philadelphia Story. I don't know why I love that movie. High Society,
It's a good
Philadelphia
story.
Story. Like, those are two of my favorites. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Cary Grant is one of those people I can watch do anything pretty much.
She's still watchable. I actually watched that when I lived in Philadelphia.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then
Cary Grant's
Notorious.
just-
Alfred Hitchcock in The Birds.
Oh, the
Yeah.
birds, yeah. That's a
Yeah,
cool
Yeah.
I loved that movie. The first 3/4, I was like the acting, the plot, everything. But then the last third was super creepy, and I
It's very good.
disturbed. Like it was more than
Mhm.
horror. It was like disturbing.
Yeah.
He wanted to show cars turned over and other more dead people as they were driving away, but they wouldn't let him do it. He really wanted to give you that. But you know what the film's about, right?
No, I
You know-
actually haven't looked into it once I watched it. Do tell.
The birds represent communism.
Oh,
I
really?
didn't actually know that.
Yeah, that's one interpretation I've read.
Huh.
All his movies have a subtle second meaning, hidden
Mm-hmm.
meaning. But yeah, when I was reading it, it was like, wow, man.
I'll be done.
Yeah, the birds are represent because it was 1960, what 3 or 4. He made it right after
Mhm.
Psycho. So yeah,
You
Wow.
can't beat Psycho.
Yeah,
Did you
makes
see
sense.
did
yes, you can.
series
You
Bates,
can. What? Pardon?
the Bates Motel, the series
With
Psycho, kind of a prequel kind of thing.
the kid that played in E.T. Henry. What was?
Oh, can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about. Somebody in the chat probably knows.
Yeah, it's not coming to mind for me.
The younger son in ET, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know his face. I can't think of his name at this moment.
Is he British?
No,
No,
he's
no.
American. He was in A River Runs Through It with Brad Pitt years ago, and then I'm trying to think of other movies he's done since then. I
Henry
don't remember
Thomas.
many. Henry Thomas. Yeah,
Henry
there you go.
Thomas. Yeah.
So he's in the Bates Motel series.
Yeah, the series.
I haven't seen that one. Where is that? Where can I stream that one?
I don't know.
I'll bet on Hulu. I think it was either Netflix or Hulu originally, but
Oh, okay.
a heck of a series, and that is so intense. And
Oh,
the
wow.
ending is superb.
Very cool.
Do you guys
Y'all-
know the website justwatch.com? It shows you where any movie is streaming at.
Really?
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat. So I actually wrote a book about life hacks. That was the first life hack I put in that book because everyone was always asking,
cool.
like, where can you find this movie online? And there's a website for that.
It's called what again?
Justwatch.com. And it'll tell you which services have it for free and which one, like if it's on Amazon, is it on Amazon Prime Video or do you have to rent it? It tells you all that.
That's awesome.
That's good to know.
Thank you. I didn't know about that one.
Yeah.
Come on.
Another horror movie that I was at a sleepover with one of my buddies. Actually, there was about 6 of us guys, and the parents weren't home, and the sister was across the street babysitting. We put on a movie called Two on a Guillotine. I don't know
Oh
if you
yeah.
know that or not, but when that head started rolling down the staircase, we levitated off the big couch we were on and took off running towards the neighbor's house to get to the sister to save us because that was petrifying.
Two on a Guillotine. Okay.
Two on a guillotine.
Mortified and petrified by you. What is that movie?
It's an old one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I think we were like 10 or 11 maybe.
Oh, I was quoting A Beautiful Mind, mortified and petrified by you. John Nash was.
Okay.
It's on Prime Video. Bates Motel is on Prime.
Oh, well, there you go.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Thanks for-
I think Severance is horror. It's definitely suspenseful.
It's good. Yeah.
I haven't started season 2 yet. When is it finished?
Season 2 is on episode 7.
Okay, yeah, I'll wait till they're all out, because when I watched the first season, I had to watch all of it. Like, I literally couldn't help myself.
That one's on Apple TV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to end on March 21st. 3 more
Okay,
episodes
coming
to
up,
go.
coming up. Great. I don't have long to wait. Excellent.
Yeah, I love marathoning it. You know, you get something that you like, one of these series, docuseries, and it's just one right after the other. My Amanda and I will be doing that, and we'll both look at each other, and after one ends, you know, and it's like, let it roll, let it roll.
Yeah.
And there's Silo on Apple TV. That's really good.
Oh, I haven't gone to that one yet.
Silo. Oh, it's got 2 seasons. That's excellent. It kind of put Apple on top. They were waiting for something to put it on top, and that did it. You know?
Okay. Yeah, my
really-
favorite
So who's in
Apple
that
thing
one?
I've watched, other than Severance, I think is the Therapist Next Door, I believe, where Paul Rudd plays the therapist to Will Ferrell and just subtly kind of takes advantage of him, and oh my gosh, it's too good, but it's bad, but it's so good.
Are you sure it wasn't the Temple movie you were watching with Will Ferrell?
Oh yeah, that was it too, definitely.
Rebecca Ferguson and Tim Robbins and Common are on Silo.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
I'm adding it to my list right now.
It's another female heroine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a history one from a historical period, like I thought a really good one. I don't remember where it's streaming, but it's about the Transcontinental Railroad being built. It's called Hell on Wheels.
Yeah.
Have you guys
Hell
seen
on
that
Wheels.
one?
I've seen some
I
of
love
it.
that one.
I have.
It's the Mormons are super creepy in that one though. I mean, there's a guy who's a Mormon, and he just like scares the hell out of you every time he shows up on the screen. His skin is very
Yeah.
pale. He's really tall, and he's just creepy as hell. But I don't know. It's a really interesting story. Got all
Yeah.
the different groups trying to meet, you know, at the middle, and like, you know, one group coming from the west, one coming from the east, and then just the battle to finish the railroads. Pretty interesting. Cole Meany is in that one too. Common's in that
Yes.
one.
Yes.
One of the guys that plays one of the Laffertys in what is the Under the Banner of Heaven is in that too.
Heaven.
He's the creepy Mormon guy.
A lot of
Yeah, it's
creepy.
just weird how he.
Ryan Strong, the older brother, or the younger brother that is also the bad.
Oh no, actually, it's the dad. He's the Lafferty dad.
Oh, the Laughter Dad. Okay, yeah, I just finished Under the Banner of Heaven. Finally, I'm going through my Mormon.
Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting you might not be as. I left the church like it's been almost 12 years now, so
Wow.
I didn't deconstruct until recently, but I left the church a long time ago, so I just think everybody, you know, has seen all the stuff. And
yeah, I barely just watched it. It was excellent. I probably will watch it again. It was so good.
yeah, I would suggest. Have you seen also Murder Among the Mormons?
I have
Yes.
not. No.
Which
I think that was on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched
Yes.
Under the Banner, and I watched Going Clear about Scientology.
Okay, yeah.
That one everyone told me was a must-watch. But other than that, I haven't made a dent in all the stuff people tell me I need to watch.
Now, see, there's where I can make a list of all the, you know, of the Mormon movies. Well, we probably all could, right, at this point, but that's one I watched a few years ago, just because I remember at church hearing about the Salamander Letter. I'd hear whisperings of it, but people were like, "Oh, we don't talk about that." And so you like, okay, I don't know what they're talking about.
Well, I
then I'm like-
lived it.
Yeah,
I
so
lived
you
it.
know firsthand like what the, you know. But
Yeah.
being on the East Coast, it was kind of hush hush. Like people just would bring up a topic and then you'd never hear about it again.
Right.
And you guys were right
Right.
in the heart of everything, like while everything was going on. So that must
Oh,
have been
yeah.
interesting.
the bombs went off, and I got 4 or 5 phone calls from friends. What's going on in Salt Lake? What's happening in Tampa? I said, what do you mean? Well, I had BYU studies for one of my classes, and we were editing the next. Well, it was the Salamander
Mm-hmm.
BYU studies edition, and somebody left a box in a drawer of one of the desks, and they called security to have them use a bomb thingy to open the drawer and open the box, and it was a bunch of doilies.
Oh wow.
And I went up to the archives a day or two later, and it was like on lockdown. I mean, they frisked me, checked me out when I got there. You know, even though they knew me, you know, it's like, I'm going to the archives to do research. Yeah, well, we're taking extra. I understand, guys. You know, don't worry about it. Because they thought it was fundamentalists who were doing it. They didn't know that Mark did it to himself.
There's nothing worse than death by doily.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, did you know people who were in the documentary about the murder among the Mormons?
I knew
one?
Brent. I knew Brent Metcalf, and
Okay.
yeah, I can't remember everybody in there. I met Mark at a bookstore. Well,
Oh wow.
only a few months before that, we had MHA back in Missouri, and Mark was there when Dean Jesse did his thing on the Martin Harris signatures. I met Lynn Jacobs. I was researching David W. Patton, and Lynn called me because Brent or somebody told him what I was doing. And he says, well, Mark's found this elder certificate that David Patton and Thomas Marsh signed. And I said, yeah, right, okay. And we want to sell it to you for so much money. And I said, I'm a poor student. I'm not a rich guy like the guys at BYU. And then a few weeks later, I went up to the archives, and they donated it to the archives, and I got a copy of it. And that's a forgery. Yeah.
Yeah, when I heard that story, I was like, holy cow. I mean, that's a smoking gun right there by itself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he didn't just forge Mormon. He forged Mary Baker Eddy, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Adams, Jefferson. He forged a bunch of different people. It wasn't just
Yeah.
Mormons.
If only we had people that could see around corners and had the gift of discernment to tell
You
us.
mean the picture of Kimball and Hinckley and Tanner with Mark standing right there didn't give you a clue?
Yeah. I mean, I
Oh, I
didn't
met him.
really hear the story. I mean, I heard about it, but I didn't know any details until relatively recently.
Yeah, Art DeHoyos and myself were at Grandpa's Books. Ernest Streck was a polygamist and ran a bookstore called Grandpa's Books. And Mark showed up with these certificates, stock certificates for Deseret stuff. That he probably forged them. Oh, but he was showing them to us. Look at this. Oh, this is really cool stuff, you know. I started to have my doubts about Mark because he kept on coming up with so much stuff, and I voiced my concerns to Dave Whitaker, who was the Mormon in the West archivist. When I worked in the archives, I said, I think this guy's forging this stuff or doing something with it. And if a couple of years later, hey, you were right. Yeah, I kind of figured I was.
Wow.
Because I know how hard it is to find stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't find things.
Yeah, that's a tell for sure.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that. I watched it when it came out, but now after talking about it, I want to see it again.
I never met Shannon Flynn, I don't think. Maybe I did, but I don't remember him. But I remember Mark, met him a couple of times. And Lynn called me a few times. Brent and I talked. Somebody wrote a paper that was going to be published in Dialogue, and they said everything was in the BYU archives or special collections, which wasn't true at the time, but they mailed us this huge envelope with all the sources in it, saying, I just wrote this article and I claimed that everything was in the archives. You guys got to catalog this so people can find it. I remember that.
How long did you work in the archives?
3 or 4 years
Oh, wow. Okay.
at BYU, yeah.
Mm.
Have
80.
you guys heard of the movie Good Night and Good Luck with Robert Downey Jr.?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, they
With-
made it into a Broadway play this year, I believe. But I think it's so timely. I'm gonna rewatch it in light of current political events and like the NBC lawsuit and everything.
Huh.
Mm.
Yeah, I saw that in the theater. Have
I
you ever
haven't
seen,
seen that one, but
The Road?
no, go ahead.
The Road. It's called the Road. Oh man, everybody wants me.
The Road.
It's got
Viggo Mortensen?
yeah. Yeah.
Seen that one yet?
It's good. The world ends and he and his son survive. It's good.
Oh my gosh, this looks amazing. I love movies like this. I just watched on a whim the one with Anthony Mackie, and they're in the mountains and they're being attacked by these mysterious creatures. It's like a post-apocalyptic world. Elevation, I think it's called.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Yeah.
I like
Elevation.
I Am Legend. Like they're all very similar plots.
Have you seen the ending where he lives? There's 2 endings to I Am Legend.
What? I did not know that.
Yes, there's 2 endings.
How do I get the second ending? Is it like on a DVD, or do I just keep watching?
I don't know. I downloaded a lot of movies online. I don't know. Sorry, this is Cassidy. She's our oldest. I don't know. I found it by accident when I was downloading alternate endings.
Okay.
Yeah, I really love that. I thought that was fantastic. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm pretty excited to see the new release of Snow White.
Me
Have you
too.
seen trailers for that?
I saw that. Yeah, that looks interesting.
That's going to be in IMAX too.
Kind of like live action, but
Yeah.
not animated. But it's just really
Like they redid The Little Mermaid. I haven't seen that yet in live action, and
Yeah, I haven't seen that either.
they did. I haven't
Singing
seen
on that
Mufasa
one is
yet.
Herb.
Pardon?
The
What-
Little
what?
Mermaid, the singing is, she's got a beautiful voice. I mean, it's
Does
like,
she?
oh yeah, she's incredible. Like, I knew she was a great singer before. She was discovered by Quincy Jones, I think. And
Okay.
she has a sister, and they sing together. They have a group together, but they sing beautifully. I mean, just gorgeous voices. So yeah.
Wow.
So I knew the singing would be awesome. Yeah, that one is really good. And then Lin-Manuel Miranda actually wrote an extra song in that too.
Oh,
The Little Mermaid
nice.
one. Yeah.
Well-
I teach theater, so I'm all about the musical stuff. So
Well, I sent a list to the group, but man, come on, guys.
Yeah, are we including theater in this list? Theater is kind of in this genre. I want to rank like the best plays and musicals next.
Okay, the best musicals. Well, Debbie likes. Oh, Debbie's waiting to get back in. Jean's got to let her in, but
Come on,
where's
Jean.
Jean? Um,
gosh, I love musicals, but I don't know. It'd be hard to say what the best ones are. But I mean, I have so many that I love for different
Oh,
reasons.
I know my favorite. It was the favorite since I was 12 years old. The Scarlet
that?
Pimpernel.
there's a
Oh,
musical.
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Wow.
the musical of that. Interesting.
Well,
Yeah, all the movie versions, I don't know. I've watched 2 versions. They don't have the songs. but the songs are absolutely the best part. I've seen it live like 4 times.
I didn't know
And
that.
it's on
That's nice.
Spotify. Like they did a Broadway of it, so the soundtrack is available. But yeah,
Okay.
so many good songs. Like "Where's the Girl?" So many things resonate from that song. But my favorite song from that musical is "The Riddle," because it just goes over human nature and like the prisoner's dilemma, but like in the context of like your friends and politics. It's golden. It is absolutely so good.
Very cool.
Wow. Well, let me read you the list I sent to the group. I like movies where things are against the odds
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. Okay.
Have you watched The Impossible with Ewan McGregor and Tom Holland?
No.
Yeah, they're against the odds in that movie. That movie made me cry. There's a moment where like the dad thought he lost his family, but he like makes a phone call and he gets a hold of them miraculously, and he just like he almost can't talk because he's just so overwhelmed with like my life. I have my life back. You know, I thought I lost them. Ewan McGregor is just in that scene. One of the high points in all movies ever is that scene.
Okay. Impossible. Well, I like war movies. Okay. One of my favorites is 12 O'Clock High. Because it's about men against impossible odds and having to take over and, fight. And it's a great film to teach you about leadership.
Frank
One of my
Oberton?
12 O'Clock High with Gregory Peck.
Oh, with Gregory Peck, even better. Okay, I'm looking.
Yeah. When I was at BYU, we had a Dean Jagger Film Festival because of Brigham Young, but
Hmm.
we showed this. I had never seen it on the big screen, and we played it on the big screen, and it had such an effect on. I mean, I'd seen this movie a lot. I watch it every year, and it just had an effect on me. I just couldn't believe it. Well, last time I watched it, I was crying because the guy who died. I mean, anyway, it's a good movie. I highly recommend it. And my favorite war film is a Russian film. It's called Come and See. And it's about this kid who wants to fight. And it's just what he goes through to finally get back to his family and friends.
Yeah, that's what The Impossible is basically about.
Is that what it's about? Okay. Yeah. But it's a brutal film. It's very brutal. I'm just gonna if you ever watch it. I was at Thrive, there was a guy I met who was a cinematographer, and I says, "Have you ever seen this movie?" He said, "No." I said, "You have to watch it." Okay, and then
cool.
Doctor Strangelove.
Yeah, that's a good movie. I'm of the people who like watch that and is just I'm like bewildered. Like it's funny and it's great. It's very well made, but I still get lost.
Where do you get lost?
I mean, I know what they're going for. It's clearly satire, but I still just like I don't know. It's just a little too wacky and disjointed.
Okay. Well, I watched that and the Bedford Incident on a double bill in 1964 at the theater. That's another good one. And then there's Failsafe, which is the opposite of Strangelove. It's a serious film.
Oh, also Henry Fonda. Nice.
Henry Fonda, yeah. And they're remaking it. There's a version. It was at first it was a TV play, and then it was the movie, and then they did a redo of the television, the play on TV in 2000 on CBS, and then they did, and this is 60, and then 64, and then 2000, and somebody's remaking it. I can't wait to see the remake. And then
Interesting.
my two favorite war films is Air Force. It's about a B-17, the Marianne. They're flying into Pearl at the beginning of the war, and they end up, well, they go to the Philippines. They have to leave, and at the end, they're going off on this bombing mission to fight. Yeah, it's just guys against impossible odds again, and that's a who directed it.
The only war movie that stands out to me. Have you guys heard of The Best Years of Our Lives?
Oh, that's where I was going. I'm gonna go there. Yes.
That one has stuck with me my whole life. When I watched that, I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is so raw. This shows the human experience and like how hard it is to get over the stuff that our trauma, really, our trauma."
They went through. Howard Hawks directed that. And John Ford directed They Were Expendable, and that the PT boats at the beginning of the war in the Philippines, and how they have to leave and take MacArthur to Australia. It's a good movie too. And then The Wages of Fear, 1953. It's a French film. It's about these guys who are hired to carry nitroglycerin. The oil rig blows up, and the guys are hired to carry nitroglycerin to it to put the fire out. And it's thrill. I mean, it's edge of your seat all the time. Just fun stuff. And we talked about Star Wars already. But like you said, The Best Years of Our Lives. And then there's The Forgotten.
Oh, I've
think
heard of
that's-
that one. I've
that's
not watched that one yet. but
With
I've heard-
I think that's with Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
About veterans who come home. It's pretty equal to Best Years. I think that's what it's called, The Forgotten. No. that's
What did
not
you
it.
guys think of Catch 22?
I I like it. The movie or the series?
I didn't see the series. I read the book and watched the movie. I liked the movie, but
The movie is great.
yeah. I mean, I just
movie is
also like love the actors in it too.
Well, yeah.
Norman Fell and Alan Arkin and
Oh, Alan Arkin is a
Oh, it's called
Yeah,
The Men.
and-
The movie I was thinking about is called The Men, about Marlon Brando when he gets paralyzed at the end of the war. Yeah, that's another. Okay, yeah, Catch 22. Catch
Yeah.
22. Yeah.
Yeah, that's also Art Garfunkel is in that one and
Yeah.
the
And
other actors.
that's why in one of Simon Paul's songs, there's a line for Garfunkel because he wanted him back. This film went over time, and he was supposed to do a concert or something, and
Yeah.
there's a line in one of his songs that's pointed right at Art. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah.
Well,
What? Where'd you go,
What was
Randy?
that?
Uh-oh. We lost him.
Oh no.
Sometimes if you go to the comments, you get lost and can't get back up to the screen.
Uh-oh. Where's Gene?
Let's see. Disappearing persons. We've got Jean. We've got is
Debbie.
Debbie still?
Debbie wants to get back in. She's waiting for Gene to let her back in.
Jean has disappeared. Jean.
Should I call him?
Jean.
Then there
Oh
were
yeah,
three.
maybe. Oh no.
Do you guys have any international film recommendations? Like,
Well,
after
like
my mission
the
Arctic-
wages of fear, Beauty and the Beast, 1947, Jean Cocteau, any film by Tarkovsky, like we were talking about Stalker, which is about faith. Let me call Jean.
There's a mystery one that I'm not remembering that was so good.
Diabolique is another good
A
one.
man and a woman searching for like someone who like murdered their child or something, I think.
Oh, I don't know which one that is.
No, you know what I'm thinking of? Septimo. Septimo is an Argentine film that's a murder mystery with a couple searching for their two kids. That was really good.
I watched a French series about a guy who was kind of just like a man of mystery. I can't think of the name of it. But it was a series. It wasn't really a movie, but I don't remember it, but it was French. I can't think of the name, but anyway, it was one. It was on Netflix, and it was about a guy who just just a master of disguise type person. He was stealing things from people, and they didn't know he was the thief. Think of it.
That sounds good.
I'll try to remember. It was really good. I thought it was going to be like a love story, but it was really actually pretty intriguing. Not that there's anything wrong with love stories, but
Love
it
stories.
was
Classic love stories.
yeah. I like those too. So.
Like what? Which one?
Oh, well, I don't know. I was just saying there was a story that I was watching. It ended up being a mystery, but I thought it was going to be a love story, and it was really kind of interesting. But I can't think of the name. It was about a French guy who was kind of just a mysterious, like, international thief type of character. I don't know, but they pull you in, making you think it's a love story, and it ends up turning into this mystery. But I can't think of what it's called. It's on Netflix, and it was. And since I don't speak French very well, I can't remember the name either. But I'm gonna say Dupin, but I don't know. I don't know what his name. I have to look that one up because I can't remember it. But if I switch my screen up, I'll go into the abyss and be lost with Jean and
Don't
Debbie
do
and
that.
No,
others
don't
who are
do that.
who've lost before. So I'm
I-
not gonna switch up screens, but I'll look for it and maybe post it later.
He's not answering the phone, so something must have happened.
Uh-oh. Everything's
What? What are some inspirational films?
Oh, I think I have a list of that.
Do you have a list of that? Let's
Yeah.
talk about your list.
Go to my list. Let's see. Hidden
Taking-
Figures, Secondhand Lions, The Blind Side, of course, Wonder. I still like Forever Strong, even though it's super Mormon.
I never saw that.
Miracle is a
Yeah.
classic.
Miracle's a classic.
Gandhi is inspirational.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, why do I have a Walk to Remember on here? I love that movie, but I hate that movie.
I like that one. I just kind
It's
of
a
like
good
the
one.
little silly songs, and it's a very wholesome, like, I like that one.
That was back when I insisted that all movies have happy endings. That's why I hated it.
Yeah. I really like that movie. I just the characters, That one is Shane West and Mandy Moore and the guy that plays the dad. I can't think of his name. But he narrates all the documentaries on PBS.
Okay.
What is his name? He literally narrates every, like, if it's a Kenneth Burns documentary on PBS, he's usually he narrated like the one about the Roosevelts. He narrated the one about the West, jazz, baseball, all of them. I can't think of his name though, for saving my life right now.
I can see his face.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And like, I mean, he's just got that voice, and it's just like, I don't know, but yeah, he's such a good actor. But his voice is one of those, like Morgan Freeman. It's like very comforting to hear because that's the voice that explains everything. It's like, oh,
Yeah, the buttery smooth, calming. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys
Buttery smooth, calming, but
movie-
expressive.
Oh yeah. Very, very. There's a lot there, and he doesn't have to like overemphasize. Yeah, that's a gift. I worked for Lloyd Newell for 4 years, and he had that. He could just talk, and it was like, oh, I'm calm now.
Yeah. Tell me a story. Yeah.
Have you guys heard of the movie Gifted with Chris Evans and McKenna Grace, the girl that is on Ghostbusters, the new ones?
I haven't seen the new one.
It's really inspirational. He like fights for custody over her and tries to protect her from like an overbearing grandma that wants to like mold her life into, you know, a high pressure academic one. And Chris Evans wants to have her have a normal life.
I haven't seen that. Have you guys seen the Sean Connery movie Finding Forrester?
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's
like that
definitely inspirational. I haven't watched it, but that's on my list of inspirational to watch.
I really like that one. Yeah. I used to also watch As Good as It Gets. Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was my go-to, you know, movie for just needing a good laugh. And have you seen that one? Yeah.
Kevin Conway's the narrator.
Kevin Conway, yeah, that's it.
He passed away 2020.
Yeah, I don't. This is no. Who I'm talking about Peter Coyote.
Oh,
I
okay.
couldn't think of his name. Yeah. So he's not narrating all the stuff, but he narrates a lot of. He narrates the Roosevelts and some other ones, I think, and some of the Ken Burns. I think. No,
Yeah,
I could be
Peter
wrong.
Coyote.
Yeah, he just has that voice. I don't know.
Yeah, Finding Forrester. Oh, The Great Debaters.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
good
with
one,
Howard
yeah.
College. Oh, that's
a good one.
all-time great inspirational one in my view.
I like that one.
I think October
One of my
Sky is inspirational.
It's a good one.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
a good
that's a
one.
good one too. I was watching Hidden Figures, and one of my classmates from college is in that one.
Really?
She just has like
that's
this
awesome.
one part. Yeah, she's a juror. So when the jury does the verdict, she stands up. She's got a green dress on. Her name's Kate. She like she's the juror in that. She has lots of little parts in movies. Like I'll be like watching something like, oh, there's Kate again. Yeah, she lives in Atlanta, so they film all these films in Atlanta, and she's in a lot of them.
Yeah, my sister dated Corbin Allred, so once he was doing his big
Oh.
Mormon movie string, we always were like, oh yeah, we know him. He comes to our house all the time.
No, was he in the I was watching a Pride and Prejudice, and I started watching it, and then it was like I realized it was a Mormon one. I was like, what? And this was like last week. Was Corbin in that one? Is he blonde?
Yeah, he's blonde.
I think he was in that because they did this version of Pride and Prejudice, but it was like set in a single ward, and I was like, what is going? And then they said something about the church, and I was like, oh my god, this is a Mormon movie. I'm just trying to find a.
He does cameos in like all the Mormon.
Oh, okay.
Movies. So
Is he in the single ward? He sounds familiar. Like I think I know who he is.
Yeah, he's most known for. I mean, he had a ABC series called Teen Angel, but he's probably most famous for Saints and Soldiers.
Oh
okay.
yeah.
Saints and Soldiers.
Yeah,
okay.
that's decent. That's decent.
Yeah, and he was on the
it's great.
Saratov Approach as well. But he was at Thrive over the weekend, and
He was?
Yeah, he attended, and I didn't know he was out. I knew he was like criticizing the church with the whole Tim Ballard thing. He commented on it, and I was like, oh, that kind of says to me that he's critical of the church, but obviously he's most.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? I met him.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's gone.
He didn't tell me who he was.
Yeah. So
Oh,
obviously,
wow.
so now that you know who he is, what's he famous for in Mormon circles? Like the most famous you can be. Do you know what he did?
No.
I don't know.
Was he Satan?
That's it. That's it. Yes.
Oh, okay.
He's in the temple videos, and he's left
Awesome.
the church.
Well, he was Satan though, so you know, if he played Jesus or somebody else, you'd be like, oh no, Jesus has left the church. Well, Satan's left the church. He was already gone.
Yeah.
It was only a matter of time. No, I'm kidding. That's really interesting though. How cool. Well, like Aaron Eckhart too. He's another favorite actor to watch. Yeah.
And Amy Adams and
Ryan Gosling also.
Yeah, Ryan Gosling.
And my
Yes.
favorite, Will Swenson. I love Will Swenson. Like he's in the single ward if you are wondering. And he's also on Broadway and married to Audra McDonald and like just he's playing Neil Diamond right now in the musical about Neil Diamond.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he's really good in the singles ward. That's how I know him.
Yeah, and then what I love is that the next thing I saw him in was Hair. You know, he did Hair on Broadway.
Really?
Like that's a real change. But yeah. Yeah, he's really good.
Okay, I know who he is.
Yeah. So obviously he's left the church as well, so but yeah.
Good for him. What's his
But his wife does sing with the choir.
Oh wow. What's his co-star in the singles ward that not only has stayed but now is like the face of the church as they put out new faith promoting documentaries. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Was it
is that the
Darren
guy that does all
Tufts?
the historical sites that he visits?
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
that guy. Oh.
Yeah, he's in the singles ward, and
Okay.
yeah, maybe
He does all
Darren
those
Tufts.
videos that RFM likes to mock, sort of,
Yep.
or at least tear down
and the one episode where like they take the rabbi on the episode and they're like, does
Yes.
the Book of Mormon confirm all this Hebrew stuff? And the rabbi's like, oh yeah, it has. You know, he gives like general statements of like, yeah, this has like Hebrew connections, and they're like, oh, that proves the Book of Mormon.
Yeah. Okay. I was trying to figure out why that guy was so familiar, but he's from the singles ward. That's really insane. Wow.
Yeah, he has like
Is it-
I think just a cameo, but in the Home Teachers, I think he's like the number 2 guy in that movie.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Don't. It's so bad.
Well, it's hard to watch Mormon movies anymore.
It really is.
Unless it's Joseph Smith picking out each bean, then I'm just probably not going to watch it. Did you see
Is
the
it-
one I was talking about with the beans?
I don't think
It's an old 1960s or 70s video they showed during baptisms, like when people were changing or whatever. And it's Joseph Smith is being asked by, people to show him the golden plates at gunpoint, actually. And then so instead of showing the plates, he's got the plates down in this big barrel of beans, and so he picks out each bean one at a time. So the people get so impatient they don't want to wait on old Joe Smith to pull out the beans, so they just leave him, and he's able to carry the golden plates off safely to wherever he was traveling with them to translate them. Yeah, it's a really kind of badly done movie, so it's fun to watch in that way too. But it was faith promoting for me as a child, because like watching him patiently pick out each bean to protect the Book of Mormon. Whoa, boy, was he clever, So
Scott
I don't remember the name of the film.
Scott
Huh?
Christopher is the guy that does
Yes,
the
that's
Book
the
of
one.
Mormon, A Marvelous Work series for
What's
Yes.
his name? What's his name?
Scott
Christopher.
Christopher. And like
Scott.
when I knew Corbin Allred, I forget how I know, but I know some anecdotes of Scott Christopher. Like I won't talk bad about him, but I've heard some stories of like he's really nice to your face, but in private he's kind of different.
The guy that's on NCIS?
Oh wow.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that the?
yeah, Los Angeles. That's right.
Wow, I didn't know that. I just remember his marvelous work because he had Rabbi somebody on there, and they were going over the Hebrew.
Oh, that's the guy. Okay.
And he's going to all the sites to prove the Book of Mormon is true, and it's like,
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The best 2 years is where he actually has more than a cameo. The best 2 years.
oh yes, yeah. I used to watch that one faithfully back in the day.
Oh yeah, I've watched that one. I've watched God's Army more than once.
Yeah.
I did
Brigham
not
City.
like the RM with Kirby Hepburn. I thought that was dumb.
I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, that was.
Did you
during
watch
the era
Brigham
where
City?
like all the Mormon movies were like self-parody, like slapstick comedy? not my thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna sign off.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I can't get a hold of Gene.
Yeah, I don't know where our lost friends are, but my battery's dying too. But it's been great talking to you
Yeah.
guys about movies.
Yeah, I love
All right.
movies, and now I have a group of Exmo people who love movies. This is like a gift to my life.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. I'm glad. I'm glad.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Amazing.
it. Thanks again.
Have a
You're
great night,
welcome.
you guys. I'll
You
see
Yeah,
you.
too. We'll see ya.
Bye.
We'll see ya. All right. I don't know how we're gonna end this thing.
Yeah, I'm clicking leave studio and it's not working. So I guess I'll just. Oh my gosh, I opened 4 tabs of it. Ugh.
You're gone. Well, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's gonna go on. Like, share, and subscribe. Letter Daily Digest. I don't know what's gonna happen when I leave. I hope it shuts down. You guys have a wonderful week. Thrive was great. I enjoyed myself. Karaoke was probably the best part Saturday night, Anyway, you guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same channel, Letter Daily Digest, Tuesdays with Tim. Take care. Have a good week. Me and the cats and everyone else says bye. Cheers. Signing off.